On Halloween, true terror in Manhattan.
We got multiple casualties. This is a mass casualty situation here.
This video showing the man authorities say went on a murderous rampage, plowing through a crowded bike path in downtown New York City, taking at least 8 lives, 5 of them visitors from Argentina, and injuring 13 more, leaving nearly a mile of wreckage in his wake. The violent incident reportedly done in the name of ISIS, now being investigated by a joint team as a deliberate act of terrorism, only blocks away from One World Trade Center.
We have been tested before as a city very near the site of today's tragedy, and New Yorkers do not give in the face of these kinds of actions.
The ordeal began just hours before nightfall as families were out trick-or-treating.
I see, a truck a few more blocks down going down the bike path.
The suspect, 29-year-old Sayfullo Saipov, allegedly driving a pickup truck rented from Home Depot and then took what witnesses described as a deliberate turn onto a bike path.
I seen a couple of bodies laying right there in the bike path. Oh my God.
Mowing down bicyclists and pedestrians. Some bystanders at first mistaking the bloodshed as a Halloween performance.
I mean, it's Halloween, but it was.
The suspect only stopped after crashing the truck into a school bus.
All I heard was the impact of a crash, and I saw the white pickup truck.
That cell phone video capturing him venturing out onto the street, dodging vehicles, waving what authorities say were mock guns.
He was screaming in the street. A whole bunch of people came running past my way, yelling, "He's got a gun, he's got a gun." He did have a noticeable limp as he was getting out of his car. He did look like he was dragging his foot a little bit, and he was screaming in the street. He looked frustrated, panicked, confused.
Sources say he was shouting Allah Akbar.
I started hearing gunshots. It was probably around 5 to 10 gunshots, one after another, very fast.
Among the frightened witnesses, children.
I heard the gunshots, and it really freaked me out. I was crying and really scared. I was kind of like this, like on the ground.
The NYPD quickly arriving on the scene, confronting him, and then firing.
Oh my God!
Striking him in the abdomen. He was then apprehended and is currently being treated at an area hospital.
He wanted to initiate a suicide by cop. Those guns were not lethal weapons. I believe he anticipated being shot and killed.
Central, we have one in custody.
Ambulances rushed to the scene within minutes, triaging the wounded among the carnage.
Central, be advised, we have multiple people on the ground from Chambers all the way up to Houston. All the way from Houston to Chambers. There's multiple people on the ground, Central.
Police, heavily armed and with canine teams, quickly established a perimeter around the area, the crime scene extending for more than 10 blocks. And you can just see so many officers are still here. This road is closed off. It leads right to the scene of the attack, and no doubt about it, investigators are going to be coming through here all night long. Nearby Stuyvesant High School placed on lockdown, parents desperately trying to get to their children.
My daughter's on lockdown at school. She just said, "I saw the man with the guns. He pointed a gun at me. I'm sorry. I have to go get my child."
To Tony Clayfield, the scene was reminiscent of another dark day.
First thing that came to mind was September 11th. I've been down here forever, so September 11th came back and I knew it was terrorism. And my first thought was my daughter, going to get her for safety.
Yvette Del Pozo attends community college in the area. Dressed for Halloween herself, she told us she saw many kids on the street in costume.
When I saw those little kids coming out of school, my heart broke down. I felt like, what's going on? What if it would have happened right here where the school with all these kids, what would have happened then?
Tonight, authorities have discovered a letter allegedly written by Saipov saying he acted on behalf of ISIS, but they believe he acted alone. But there are so many questions.
What caused him to basically commit this horrible act today? And there will be some version of a TikTok as to why he got to where he ultimately ended today, killing a number of people in New York City. And they're going to want to figure that out. And the reason why is you always are looking for the pieces to stop the next guy.
What we do know now is he is believed to be originally from Uzbekistan, immigrating to the U.S. after receiving a lottery spot through the diversity visa program. Now word that Saipov was an Uber driver. Uber saying in a statement, "We are horrified by this senseless act of violence." Investigators believe he recently lived across the river from Manhattan at this house in Paterson, New Jersey, and that he previously lived in Ohio and his license was issued in Florida. In Tampa today, local police swept an apartment they think belongs to the suspect, searching for answers. The attack mirrors what leaders of ISIS have publicly called for.
Are you incapable of stabbing a kafir with a knife, throwing him off of a building, or running him over with a car?
Al-Qaeda and ISIS believe now that it's very difficult to stage large-scale terrorist attacks with a cell of 5 or 6 people. When there are that many people involved, they can be identified in advance. Someone can make a mistake. But a lone actor, particularly one who hasn't done anything before, one that the police are not following, a lone actor can make this kind of big publicity event.
Today's incident, just the latest in a string of vehicle attacks. This August, terrorists used a van to kill 13 and injure 100 more in Barcelona. That driver escaped but was later killed in a shootout with police. From March to June this year, there were 3 separate attacks using automobiles in London, claiming a total of 15 lives. Last December in Berlin, a driver killed 12 people in a Christmas market. And in Nice, a man used a 20-ton truck to kill 84 revelers celebrating Bastille Day.
It's very hard to stop someone from getting a truck, and very hard to stop them from attacking a crowd at any intersection in a major city.
In May, the TSA released a report on the threat of vehicle ramming attacks in the U.S., recommending reporting to authorities any suspicions arising from the rental of large capacity vehicles near large gatherings, and creating barriers that create a serpentine path of entry. The NYPD did, in fact, take precautions.
We visited over 148 truck rental locations in this area, the obvious ones, U-Haul, Ryder, Home Depot, etc., and talked about suspicious indicators. So the industry has had a high level of awareness on this matter from the NYPD.
President Trump briefed on the events today, tweeting, "Looks like another attack by a very sick and deranged person. Law enforcement is following this closely, not in the USA." New York Governor Andrew Cuomo and New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio standing together to reassure the city.
We will be vigilant, more police everywhere. You'll see them in the airport, you'll see them in the tunnels. It's not because there's any evidence of any ongoing threat or any additional threat. It is just out of vigilance and out of caution.
But tonight, New York, with its history deeply marred by terrorism, remains a city on edge.
Halloween appears to be carrying on as usual here in Times Square. We are seeing a lot of costumes, a lot of tourists, and a lot of police.
Not far away from the crime scene, New Yorkers in costume coming out in full force to carry on the Halloween parade tradition.
Anything can happen anywhere, so of course it would make us feel a little bit afraid, but I mean, we have to live, right? So, you can't let, something, tragic that someone did, stop your life.
The indomitable spirit of this city, brave and unbroken. For Nightline, I'm Gio Benitez in New York.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.